are you, bro?
22.
You're 22, right? And you really trying to get right with God? Give me 1 Corinthians 1. Let's see if you really trying to get right with God. All right, bro? Because in order for you to get right with God, you have to keep God's commandments. I'm about to give you a commandment, okay? Let's see if you're willing to keep it. Read.
1 Corinthians 11.
1 Corinthians 11. Chapter 11 and verse 3.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
What's the head of every man?
Christ.
Read.
And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God. Every man.
Who is he speaking to now? Read.
Praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonored his head.
So right now it's reading the Bible. It's a book of prophecies. So as we're reading the Bible, read that verse again.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonored his head.
If your head is covered, you're dishonoring who? Who's your head? You're dishonoring Christ. So as we're reading the Bible, what should you do? No. What should you do while we're reading and you're listening? What should you do? Read it again.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered.
Right now your head is what?
Dishonoring his head.
So as we're reading the Bible, you got your head covered, what are you doing to God? You're dishonoring him. Right. So now, if you really trying to get in tune with God, what would you do right now with your covering? What would you do with your beanie right now? That's a good step. Now you asked about praying. Go to John chapter 9, verse 31. So you asked about praying. Hey, pray for me. Pray for me, all right? Read that.
John chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
Stop. What did it say? What's going on, brother? How you doing? Let me ask you a question real quick for the young man. What's your nationality? African American. What part of Africa are you from?
I'm not from Ghana.
You're from Ghana, right? Your descendants are from Ghana. How about if I could say to you right now, in front of the young man, that your roots go back further than Ghana? You would believe that, right? I've got one scripture. I see you on the move. I got one scripture. I'm going to show you that your lineage goes back further than Ghana. All right? Go to Galatians 4:26. I'm going to prove to you and to the young man that our relationship with God goes back further than West Africa. Watch this. Read.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 26.
You believe in the Bible, right? You believe in the Bible? So let's go with the Bible say. Read.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free. Read.
Which is the mother of us all.
What's the motherland? Jerusalem. You understand what I'm saying? Is Jerusalem in Ghana? No. So where you really from? Jerusalem.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying, brother? Now, who resides in Jerusalem?
Bring it out.
The Jews. Who are you then? The Jews.
That's right.
You are the Jews of God, but you don't know. You have forgotten who you are.
Right.
Now you walk the earth in America calling yourself African American. I used to do it, but that's the two white men. Africa is named after a white man named Leo Scipio Africanus.
That's right.
He conquered that land after the Second Punic War with Hannibal and named the land after himself.
Right.
America is named after a white man, an Italian explorer named Amerigo Vespucci. So now the question would be, what's your nationality? You can't be African American because you don't descend from two white men.
That's right.
So who am I? You're a child of God. Isaiah 1 and 3. Everything you're saying, my brother, is Bible prophecy. That's why everything you say, we're going to go to the Bible. Watch this, what the Bible says. Listen good, young brother.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
So this is the prophet Isaiah, and God is speaking through him. He said what?
But Israel doth not know. The ox knoweth his owner.
He said the ox knoweth his owner. The ox is a hard-working animal, and it knows its owner. It knows who possesses him. It knows who feeds him. It said the ox knows his owner. Read.
And the ass his master's crib.
And the jackass, the donkey, knows his homeland. You can take a donkey miles away from here, drop him off, and it's going to get back to his homeland. Right? So he compared his people to two hard-working dumb animals. Read.
But Israel.
But then he said, but Israel, they don't know their homeland. They don't know their owner. They don't know their master. He said, but Israel
doth not know.
They don't know who they are.
My people doth not consider.
My people don't even consider who they are.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? My people are usually easily walk past. Which if I was in this state, I would have walked past. You understand what I'm saying? Not knowing that God, this is God talk right now.
Right.
I'm just a vessel.
Bring it out.
That's why everything that I read, I'm reading scripture. Why? So that I can be justified. But what happens to our people? Go to Romans 10 and 1. This is what happens to our people. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the brother had read about you about praying. We are supposed to pray in the streets. Why? Because then people are going to look at us and act like we're so holy. Oh, they're praying in the street. God said the hypocrites do that. You understand? But we don't know that. So watch this. Read it.
Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel.
Who is Paul praying for?
Israel is that they might be saved.
Is that Israel might be saved.
That's right.
But when we go to the church tells us what? All people can be saved.
Bring it out.
Everybody is a child of God. But that's not what the Bible says.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Read.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God.
Our people, they have a zeal for God. That's why they fill up the churches. They have a zeal for God. They know there is something in them that they're supposed to be connecting with the higher power. They got a zeal for God. Read.
But not according to knowledge.
But not according to God's knowledge. So now the question should be, what is the knowledge of God? Since I got a zeal for God, and God said I don't have it according to his knowledge, what is the knowledge that I don't have? That's a fair question, right? Let's see.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 7.
Hold on, how you doing, sister? What's your name? Diana. I feel you, bro. Good. Make sure you check us out.
She said that her husband is looking. My group is looking for.
Yeah, go ahead.
She said her husband is looking for something. He's looking for like a guidance. Church is it, but not really. He's looking for somewhere to be led. So she said she sends out here. She wants to know what we're talking about.
She want to know what's your nationality first?
I'm Mexican.
You Mexican, so you Issachar, you Israel, okay? Never say you Mexican again.
Right.
You're God's chosen people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Your husband, is he Mexican, so to speak? What is he?
He's black.
He's black, right? He's Judah. He's from the top tribe of the nation of Israel.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Jesus Christ come from Judah.
Right.
Right? So now, listen to what you say. You don't want to go to church, right? Because church is not teaching right, right? Let's see what God says.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Believe it or not, we are the priests on this earth. We are the sons of the living God for real.
That's right. And they should seek the Lord.
And when you come to ask us questions, you should be seeking what?
The Lord
You should be seeking God's law. Read.
at his mouth. For he is
For he is, for that man is,
the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
we speak on behalf of God on this earth. You understand what I'm saying? We are the messengers of God.
That's right.
You understand, you understand what I'm saying? So it's good that a wife should come to seek out her husband so that he can come to be among us.
Right.
Because it ultimately is going to help you.
Right.
Why? Because now he's going to be righteous. Now he's going to be able to lead a family. Now he's going to be able to lead his people. Now he's going to be able to lead you to the kingdom of heaven. You understand what I'm saying? Now listen here, brother. So pay attention, okay? So listen here. Go back to Romans 10 and read verse 3.
Romans chapter 10, verse 3. For they be ignorant of God's righteousness.
What's God's righteousness? Do you know? Good. Let's help him out. Go to Deuteronomy. Let's see what God's righteousness is. Because the Negro would say smoking a blunt is righteous. They got the rosters. Ain't that what they do?
Right.
That's not right. So it says, read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25.
This is God's righteousness.
And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he have commanded us.
So what is the righteousness of God?
And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments.
What's the righteousness of God? So now, the righteousness of God is what, sis? Keeping the commandments. That's the righteousness of God. Keeping the commandments. So now go back to Romans 10.
Romans chapter 10, verse 3. For they be ignorant of God's righteousness.
So what are our people ignorant of? We're just gonna keep, you're right, a lot. But based upon what we just read, what are our people ignorant of? The law.
Right.
That's what our people are ignorant of. They're ignorant of God's righteousness. God's righteousness is God's law.
That's right.
You understand? So our people are ignorant of God's law. Does that make sense? Read.
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
And our people go about to establish their own righteousness. Meaning what? The scriptures say that the Sabbath day is from Friday sundown to Sabbath sundown. That's the righteousness of God. When do our people go to church? When did God say do that? So what did our people do? Establish their own righteousness.
Right.
You understand? God said we're not supposed to eat pork. What do our people eat? Pork. They say, well, I just prayed over it. They're establishing their own what? Righteousness.
Right.
Does that make sense? Read.
Have not submitted themselves
But our people have not submitted themselves
unto the righteousness of God.
unto the laws of God. You understand? Our people refuse to submit themselves to the laws of God. Now, are you willing to keep the laws of God? Right now. Now watch this, my brother. Watch this, my sister. Go back to 1 Corinthians 11.
Bring it out!
So you see how you had your head covered, and you had the beanie on, and the law came out, and you took it off? What do you think she's supposed to do as a woman? We're going to read it.
1 Corinthians chapter 11.
That's good. You don't know. We're going to read it.
Chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know, verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head.
So you said you was married, right? So you have a head. Your head is your husband. His head is Christ. Christ's head is the Most High, right? That's the order of God. So it says, as we read these prophecies, and you being a woman, you're supposed to cover your head.
Right.
Do you have something to cover your head? Put your hoodie on, sister. Yeah. You see that? You see how easy that was, bro? But our people don't know that. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you didn't know it. But she didn't know it as well. You understand? So now that you're willing to keep God's commandments, now I see what type of spirit I'm dealing with. Y'all are humble spirits. You understand what I'm saying? Go to James 4. Did we finish that in Romans?
I guess.
Go to James 4. Because y'all got humble spirits, the Lord can deal with you. But if you have rebellious spirits, the Lord will reject you. Now you will be out here arguing with me, but I'm only reading the Bible. You're only arguing with God. You understand what I'm saying?
James chapter 4, verse 7.
But now, leave it alone real quick, bud.
Submit yourselves therefore to God.
Hold up.
Submit yourselves therefore to God.
Stop. What did God just say?
Submit yourselves therefore to God.
What did you do by taking your hat off? What did you do by putting your hat on? You were submitting to God. So God said what?
Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil.
Because it could have been the spirit in you being like, man, I'm not going to cover up my head out here. Or it could have been the spirit in you to say, man, too damn cold, I ain't got to take off my hat. But you resisted that devil. Read.
And he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God.
So now he said, draw nigh to God. How did you draw nigh to God? How did you draw nigh to God? Read.
And he will draw nigh to you.
And he will draw nigh to you. You understand what I'm saying? Read.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners.
So now what is God telling you the next step is? You got to cleanse your hands from sin. What is sin? Let's find what sin is. Because God said you got to cleanse your hands from sin. Let's see. You all right?
1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
For what sin? Transgression of the law. What's God's righteousness? Well, you are. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word.